Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Next, I'm showing Robert Crew. Tell me your name, sir.
Robert Crew.
Sir, you've been arrested for the offense, well, and actually, before we get started, on all cases, I'm going to temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender. If an affidavit's been filled out and the subject is determined to be indigent, then that's a permanent appointment. I found PC on all cases unless I specifically say otherwise. Sir, you've been arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause for that. You don't qualify for release through pretrial release. I'm going to set your bond at $250. I'll order if you post bond, you're not returned to the location where the trespass took place. That's the order in regards to Mr. Crew.
Do I have any offer?
Not today,
Your Honor, can we approach for a quick second?
not today. Okay? Let's send him. We're done. He can go. Next is, I have Steve Lorgiat. Was it Lorgaya?
Yes, it's good.
All right, sir. So you've been arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. The judge who issued your warrant sets your bond at none. I'm going to stay your bond at none pending disposition of your violation. Oh. You also have a new arrest for the offense of trespassing in an occupied structure or conveyance and possession of controlled substance without a prescription. I find probable cause for both of those offenses. I'll stay each bond as previously set, count $100 on count one, $1,000 on count two. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Lorgaya.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, that's it, Mr. Lorgaya. Ms. Wembley. All right, is this Mr. Hitchcock? All right, Mr. Hitchcock, you have two matters before the court. The first is your arrest for a violation of an Orlando City ordinance in regards to trespassing, which is prosecutable as a misdemeanor of the first degree. I find probable cause for that offense. I'll stay your bond. Oh, hold on. I'll stay your bond at $250 on that case. You also had another trespass case where you were out on ROR status in 21 MM 3163. In that case, I'm going to revoke your ROR status. I'm going to order you be held on a no bond until your assigned division judge can determine if there are appropriate conditions of release. That's the order in regards to Mr. Hitchcock. Next, I have Christian Beltran Roman. All right, he has bonded. Next, I have Guadalupe Guerreros.
Prayers.
All right, ma'am, you've been arrested for two offenses. Do we have anybody here on those cases? I assume y'all are just going to tell me when somebody's coming up. And can we move that monitor so I can, right in front of me? I can't really see the witness box with the monitor for Osceola in its current position. Ma'am, you've been charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I find probable cause for each of those counts. It appears that you qualify for release through the pretrial release program. So listen carefully, ma'am. I'm going to order your release on each count through pretrial release with the following conditions. Number one, you have no contact with either identified victim. That means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. Number two, I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence from each victim. Number three, I'm going to let you return to any shared residence you have with either victim one time in the company of law enforcement to recover any personal items you need while the case is pending. Number four, order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while this case is pending. That is the order of the court in regards to Ms. Barreros. Next, I had Isaac Bridges.
Defense waive his appearance.
Is it Bridge? No, it's a Bridger, I'm sorry. All right, so here's what we're gonna do on Mr. Bridger. I do find probable cause for each of the offenses. He does not qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to set bond on count one in the amount of $5,000. Bond on count two would be $100. I'll order if he posts bond that he have no contact with the identified victim, not return to the location where the identified victim resides, and order he not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while the case is pending. That's the order of court in regards to Mr. Bridger. Just that. Is this Ms. Chandler? All right, Ms. Chandler, you have one matter before the court. You're charged in count one with battery on a law enforcement officer, count two, battery and act of domestic violence, and count three, resisting officer without violence. Question for PTR. I'm looking at your PTR form. The son she lives with, is that the subject who I'm going to see in a little while, who was also arrested during this incident? I believe his name would be Jerry Carter, or was that another subject?
It is Jerry Carter, yeah.
It's her son. Yes, Your Honor. It's her son.
So defense, here's the conundrum. This defendant is the mother of Jerry Carter, who's also a defendant. Although his allegations are not domestic violence against her, his, I believe, are battery law enforcement officer. So, PTR, are you telling me that Mr. Carter wants to have contact and reside with his mother even though she's alleged, accused to have battered him?
Your Honor, if I could interject for a quick second, usually in these situations, we'll just bring him up and have him speak on the record for himself.
Do we have the ability to bring Jerry Carter into the courtroom? Let's do that then. He is charged with, I believe, battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting with. He's like Jerry Carter III, I believe. But I don't know where he would fall in the stack. I need to ask him what his position is on conditions of release. Morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Jerry Carter.
Mr. Carter, I don't want to talk about your case. We're going to talk about your case in a few minutes. I want to talk to you about the case where your mother, Ms. Chandler, is accused of committing domestic violence battery against you. Normally, when someone commits domestic violence against a family member, I require that the person accused of the domestic violence maintain a separate residence, live somewhere else, and have no contact whatsoever with the victim. Are you asking me to do that in this case?
Can I say something?
Well, focus on the case where you're a victim. I don't want you to talk about your other case yet, okay?
It ain't like that, bro. It ain't like that at all. That's my mama. She just was trying to get me in the right position, bro. It wasn't like that. She ain't.
Let me ask you this. Are you telling me that you're not in fear that
I'm
your
not.
mother's going to batter you again?
I'm not.
Are you telling me that you would like your mother to be able to live with
Yes.
you in the shared residence?
Yes.
State, do you have any questions for Mr. Carter in regards to Ms. Chandler's conditions of release?
No, Your Honor.
Defense.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Carter, we'll move you back. We'll address your case in a little bit. Ms. Chandler, listen carefully. I'm going to order your release through the pretrial release program. I'm going to order that you have no hostile or violent contact with your son. I will allow you to live in the same residence with him. But again, no hostile or violent contact. I'm going to order that you possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. I'll order that you not return to the SeaWorld amusement park, including its parking lot, while you're on pretrial release. Do you understand? State any of the conditions that you want me to place on PTR for Ms. Chandler.
No, Your Honor.
And PTR, is that clear for y'all?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Chandler. Next, I'm showing Nico Herbert, Abear, depending on how you pronounce it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and swear her in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record. Spell your last name.
Laura Ludwig, Ludvig.
Ma'am, there you go. Can you say your name again?
Laura Ludwig, Ludvig.
You can put your hand down, ma'am. Ma'am, you're the identified victim in this case where Mr. Herbert's been arrested. How are you related to him?
I'm his older sister.
Does he live at the same address as you?
No.
Normally, in a case like this, I'd order that he have no contact with you, that he not return to your residence, he not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Are there any of those things you want me to change?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about what you think I should do in terms of his release?
Nothing else.
All right. State any additional questions for Ms. Ludwig?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you can step back out. Thank you. Mr. Herbert, tell me your name. Take a breath. Are you Nico Herbert? Nodding his head, yes. Sir, you got 3 matters before the court. The first is your arrest for aggravated battery on a pregnant person, to wit, an act of domestic violence, your sister. I do find probable cause for that offense. I'll set your bond on that case in the amount of $5,000. I'll order that if you post bond, you have no contact whatsoever with your sister, you not return to the residence where the offense took place, and you do not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Now, you had two other cases before the court. In 21 CF 6391, you were out on release in a Division 17 case, looks like for 4 charges, controlled substance related. I'm going to revoke your bond and/or your ROR status in that case. I'll order you be held on a no bond in that case, pending further order of the division judge. Then you also had 21 CF 5340, where you had a charge of possession of methamphetamine in Division 10. I'm going to order your release status in that case be revoked. I'm not sure if he was on bond or not. It's unclear from the paperwork. And I'll order that you be held on a no bond status on that case as well, pending disposition or further order of the court. I think that takes care of all of Mr. Herbert's cases.
For the cases that my bonds were revoked, can I say something about those cases?
Sir, all we're doing today is telling you the charges and your bond status. The public defender is appointed to assist you.
Is it anyone I can speak to, sir?
I'll be out there later.
Next is, I'm showing Keith Barsky. Anyone here on Keith Barsky? Sir, you've been arrested on a warrant for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. I'm going to order if you post that bond, you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. No contact means no contact. No phone calls, no text messages, no social media contact. I'm reading the notes from pretrial release. I understand that y'all reside together. I'm going to address that in a second. You can't live together. It appears that you work with the victim. That's not a basis for you to have contact. I'm not sure what that's going to ultimately mean in regards to whether the victim continues to work for you or in your place of employment, but you can't have any contact with them. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got to answer yes or no, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, I'll order that you have no contact, order that you maintain a separate residence. I will let you return one time in the company of law enforcement to the shared residence to recover any personal items you need while the case is pending. I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while the case is pending. I'm trying to see if there were any other conditions that the warrant judge put in place. I don't see any other conditions. All right, that is the order of the court in regards to Mr. Barsky.
Your Honor, for a quick second, I just wanted to make the court aware that, a previous case for Isaac Bridger, we waived his appearance because he's mental health. Well, his victim actually showed up late because she's handicapped and in a wheelchair. So I don't know if you wanted her to speak on the record or,
I've already addressed the case, okay?
tell it on.
All right, next is Carmen Cabrera.
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, you've been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. I do find probable cause for that offense. It appears that you qualify for release through the pretrial release program. I'll order your release through the pretrial release program with the following conditions. Listen carefully. Number 1, no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. Number 2, maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. Number 3, I'll let you return to any shared residence one time in the company of law enforcement to recover any personal items you need. Number 4, I'll order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while you're on pretrial release. Number 5, I'll order you be subject to random testing to determine if you have consumed alcohol or illegal drugs. And number 6, I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. That is the order of the court in regards to Ms. Cabrera. All right, is this Ms. Cooks?
Yes, sir.
Tell me your full name, ma'am.
Ramisha D. Cooks.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Your Honor, her victim is also here.
I'm sorry.
Her victim is also in the Orange County Jail.
Right, I noticed. I'm just looking at her PTR sheet. So I see that she's on DOC probation. Does anyone know if DOC is submitting an affidavit of violation?
No, they have 5 days.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Ma'am, I do find probable cause for that offense. Listen carefully. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000. I'll order if you post that bond. You have no contact with the identified victim. I am going to allow you to return to the residence at, it's the 5422 Fairwood Way, and I'm going to allow you to reside in that residence. I'm going to allow the co-defendant, Derek Lowe, when I talk to him, I'm going to let him come back one time in the company of law enforcement to get any personal items he needs while the case is pending. Other than that, you can't have any contact with him. Do you understand? I order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State any other conditions you're going to ask for in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Cooks. All right, next I have is Shanice Davis, is that correct? Tell me your name, ma'am.
Shanice Davis.
All right, Ms. Davis, you've been arrested for the offense of battery, an act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. Is the identified victim on Ms. Davis's case present? Ma'am, let me ask you this. Who's caring for your child currently?
My sister.
Okay. And where is she keeping the child?
At her house.
So listen carefully, ma'am. You qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to order your release through pretrial release. I'm going to order that you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim at this point in time. That means no phone calls, no text messages, no anything. Also, please understand, this is my order. If he tries to have contact with you, my advice is tell him, I'm not allowed to do this. You're going to get me in a lot of trouble. Please leave me alone. Until a judge says you're allowed to have contact with the identified victim, you can't have any contact. I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence. I'll let you return to the residence that you shared one time in the company of law enforcement to recover any personal items you need while this case is pending. I'll order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while this case is pending. State any other conditions you want me to impose?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Davis. All right, next case I have is Toby Hartwell.
Yes.
It looks like we have a witness here. Let's go ahead and swear him in.
Do you swear or affirm affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Kyle Bryant, Bryant.
All right, sir, are you the identified victim in this case?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any children with the defendant?
I do not.
And do y'all actually live at the same residence?
We do.
How long have y'all lived together?
We've lived together, different states for about 4 years.
Sir, typically in a case like this, I order the defendant have no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence from the victim, possess no firearms and ammunition, and if I think it's appropriate, not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you want me to do anything differently?
Yes,
other
sir.
than what I normally order? What do you want me to do?
I would like her to have contact and come back home.
Are you in fear that if she's back in the home with you, anything like this incident is going to happen?
No, she's never done anything like this before. I don't believe she'll do it again.
Has anyone pressured you to come in and tell me this?
No, sir, this is all me.
And do you understand that if I allow her to come back home, I'm going to order that she have no hostile or violent contact with you? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If there was a new incident of hostile or violent contact, would you contact law enforcement and report that?
Yes, sir.
State, any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, here's what I'm going to do. It appears you qualify for release to the pretrial release program. I'm going to order your release to the pretrial release program with the following conditions. Number one, you have no hostile or violent contact with the identified victim. That means no pushing, no shoving, no yelling, no threatening, no throwing things, no hitting, nothing of that nature. Sometimes it doesn't do someone a favor when a judge makes no hostile contact because they get back in the same situation and there's a problem. The police come out, decide that what did happen was hostile or violent, and you go back to jail. If you violate conditions of release, you should assume that you're going to go back to jail, and you should not assume you'll get back out. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
My advice is if there's a problem in the relationship, take a walk. Okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you're on pretrial release. State any other conditions you're going to ask for.
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Hartwell. All right, next, tell me your name.
Asia Khan.
All right. Ms. Khan, you've been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I find probable cause for that offense. It appears that you qualify for release through pretrial release. I'm going to order your release to the pretrial release program. Listen carefully. Number one, I'm going to order you have no contact with the identified victim. Number two, I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. Number three, I'll order that you can go to any shared residence with the victim one time in the company of law enforcement to get any property you need while the case is pending. Number four, I'll order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you're on pretrial release. State any additional conditions you want in this case.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Khan, please understand, it doesn't matter if your father or somebody else says, no, come on back to the house. If your sister continues to live there, you can't live there. Do you understand? If it turns out that she moves and goes somewhere else and you're welcome back in that home, that's between you and your parents. Does that make sense? All right, that's the order of the court. All right, let's have her step up. Ma'am, tell me your name.
Leopai.
Tell me one more time.
Panina Leopai.
All right, Ms. Leopai, you have been arrested for the offense of battery, an act of domestic violence. Let me ask you this. The residence 307 West Lancaster Road, number 2, would that be an address you would continue to intend to live at? Okay. So, ma'am, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to order your release to the pretrial release program. I'm going to order while you're on pretrial release, you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. Order that you maintain a separate residence. I'll let you return to the 307 West Lancaster Road location one time in the company of law enforcement to recover any personal items you need. I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while the case is pending. State any
Nothing further.
additional conditions. All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Lepi. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Katie Lynn Lovelace.
All right, Miss Lovelace, you have been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. You do not qualify for release of the pretrial release program. Just look at one other thing. I'm going to set your bond to the amount of $500. I'm going to order for you post bond that you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. In reading the report, it's my understanding the identified victim has another residence. Is that correct?
Yes, that was my house that we were at, yes.
I'll let you return to that residence, but I will order you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim while this case is pending. I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State any additional conditions you want in this case.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, that's the order of the court.
Your Honor, bond was 500 in the case?
Correct.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, sir.
Derek Lowe.
All right, Mr. Lowe. You've been arrested for the offense, battery and act of domestic violence. I find probable cause for that offense. It appears that you qualify for release through pretrial release. I'm going to order, if you release the pretrial release, that you have no contact with the identified victim. I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. I already told Ms. Cooks that she's going to be able to stay at the residence where the incident took place. I'll let you go back to that residence one time in the company of law enforcement, recover any personal items you need while the case is pending. I'll order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while the case is pending. State any additional conditions that
Nothing
you're going to
further, Your Honor.
request.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
That's the order of court in regards to Mr. Lowe. Tell me your name.
Devon. Devon
Full name.
McGee.
All right, Mr. McGee, you've been arrested for battery and act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. It appears that you qualify for release through the pretrial release program. I'll order your release to the pretrial release program with the following conditions. Number one, you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. Number two, you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. Now, if the victim has in fact moved out of the residence where this incident took place, you can return there. But you must return in the company of law enforcement and confirm that she no longer resides there before you may resume living there. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you're on release. State any other conditions you're going to ask for in this case?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
That's the order of the court in regards to this defendant. All right, tell me your name.
Misha Mathis.
All right, we have someone here. Let's go ahead and swear that person in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Juan de Santana.
Mr. Santana, how do you know the defendant, Ms. Mathis?
She's my wife.
Do y'all have any children together?
Yes.
How many?
One.
The address, well, what address do you live at?
6404.
And was Ms. Mathis residing there with you as well?
No, she lives somewhere else at the moment.
Okay. So, sir, normally in a case like this, I would order the defendant to have no contact with you. I would order her to maintain a separate residence. I would order her to not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. If appropriate, I'd order her not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs. Do you understand what I normally order?
I understand.
Do you want me to do anything differently other than order those conditions?
Yes, that's not necessary.
Well, what part in your mind is not necessary?
I mean, the alcohol part is not necessary. The weapons, yes, I would say yes, maybe. But anything else is not necessary. She's a good mother. She's a great mom, and she's a good person. It's just, emotions sometimes. And if I have a 4-year-old, we the only ones that can, pick up our sons and drop them off to each other. Well, like I said, this is something that doesn't happen frequently or anything like that. It's just emotions just went too high.
He assaulted me and stopped me from leaving.
Or ma'am, hold on.
I'm sorry.
So, sir, I saw there was a reference to a court order. Do y'all have a divorce or a parenting plan in place?
Yes,
Was it a divorce with a parenting plan?
correct,
All right.
in process.
And are you going to go to court to address the parenting plan?
Yes,
We already did that.
Ma'am, I haven't asked you a question yet.
Okay.
Sir, are you telling me that you're not currently in fear of the defendant?
no,
Would you prefer if I ordered that she had no hostile or violent contact with you?
yes,
You do intend to maintain a separate residence, is that correct?
correct.
State, do you want to ask any additional questions?
Okay, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, listen very carefully. I'm going to order your release through the pretrial release program with the following conditions. Number one, you have no hostile or violent contact with the identified victim. That means no yelling, no shoving, no pushing, no kicking, no threatening. Do you understand me?
Yes. And I would please like the same from him.
I'll order that you maintain a separate residence from him. I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes.
Something for both of you to think about. I spent 3 years sitting in the Domestic Violence Injunction Unit in the Ninth Circuit. I've seen lots of cases like this. The one thing I see people regularly forget is that they're teaching their children how to handle problems in relationships. I don't think either of you would want your children standing in a courtroom like this at some point in their future, would you?
No, I tried to leave. He stopped
Be
me.
careful about the choices you make. That's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Mathis. Tell me your name, sir. All right, Mr. Ori, you've been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. It appears that you qualify for release through the pretrial release program. Let me ask you this. Now, here's what I'm going to order. Order number one, you have no contact with the identified victim as a condition of pretrial release. Number two, I'll order that you maintain a separate residence. Number three, I'll let you go back to any shared residence one time in the company of law enforcement to recover any personal items you need while the case is pending. Number 4, I'll order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. Number 5, I'll order that you be tested, randomly tested, to determine if you have consumed alcohol or illegal drugs in violation of my order. And again, I'll order you possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State any additional conditions you're going to ask me to
Nothing further, Your
impose. All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Ori. All right, next case I have, is this Mr. Pizzuto?
Oh, yes, this is, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Joseph Pizzuto.
All right. And we have someone here. Let's go ahead and swear that person in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear from the testimony about to give, share with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record, spell your last name.
My name is Valeria Theron, Theran.
Ma'am, how do you know the defendant?
We were dating.
How long were y'all dating?
I would say 4 weeks. 4 weeks?
All right. Do y'all have any children together?
No.
Married?
No.
Did he ever establish a shared residence with you?
No.
Normally, in a case like this, I would order that he have no contact with you whatsoever, that he would maintain a separate residence. If he had any personal items at your residence, I'd let him go back there one time in the company of law enforcement to recover those items. And I would order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Is there anything different from that that you would like me to order in this case?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. Pizzuto, it does appear that you qualify for release through pretrial release. I'll order your release through the pretrial release program. Again, listen very carefully. I'm going to order you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. No phone calls, no text messages, no social media contact. And it doesn't matter what the substance of the contact might be. So let me give you an example. You send her a message on Facebook saying, I just want to apologize, you're never going to hear from me again. You might think that's a mature, responsible way to handle the case. The public defender and I would tell you that you violated my order, you'd be subject to arrest, and you'd be subject to remaining in the Orange County Jail till your case is resolved. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Order that you maintain a separate residence. Do you have any personal items at Ms. Theron's residence?
No.
All right, I'll order that you not come within 500 feet of her residence, and I'll order you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Theron, have I missed anything that I discussed previously?
No.
That's the order of the court, Mr. Pizzuto. Tell me your name.
That's Williams, okay?
I'm actually going to order Rodriguez Maldonado reset. I'm not going to let you waive. I think a judge needs to talk to him. I will ask the PTR staff, can they remind the first appearance judge tomorrow that his victim in this case is also a defendant, and I spoke to her today, and that I was going to order him to maintain a separate residence. And not return to the 307 West Lancaster. All right, he'll be reset till tomorrow. Tell me your name, ma'am. All right, ma'am, you've been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500, and I'm going to order the following conditions of bond. Listen very carefully, ma'am. Number one, I'm going to order that you have no contact with the identified victim. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
No contact means no contact whatsoever. Number two, I'm going to order that you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. Number three, I'll let you return one time in the company of law enforcement to the hotel here in Orlando where y'all were staying when the incident took place. I'm also going to let you return one time to your residence in Jacksonville, where you normally live, to recover any personal items from that residence while this case is pending. Otherwise, no contact, maintain a separate residence, do not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State any other conditions you're going to ask for in Ms. Shepherd's case.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, next case. Tell me your name.
Hunter Snow.
All right, just give me 1 second. All right, you've been arrested for the offense of battery and act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. We have a subject here. Let's go ahead and swear her in.
Raise your right hand, please. Your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record, spell your last name.
Mia Shimilarski, CHMILARSKI.
Ma'am, how do you know the defendant, Mr. Snow?
He was my boyfriend.
How long were y'all involved in a relationship?
We were on and off for a little over a year.
Do y'all have any children together?
We do not.
Married?
No.
Did he ever establish a shared residence with you?
For a certain amount of time, yes.
When did that end, roughly?
About beginning of April.
And does he have any personal property at the apartment you were living in when this incident took place?
I did find his cell phone at my house last night, so his cell phone is still there.
Okay. Ma'am, normally in a case like this, I'd order him to have no contact with you, maintain a separate residence from you, possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. And given the facts of this case, I'd order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or other medication. Are there any conditions other than that that you want me to add, or any of those conditions you'd like me to modify?
I have been in contact with his family, and they asked me to come here and say that he needs, like, to be committed or institutional help, like mental help. He has suffered with that for a while, so his family asked me to come in and mention that.
All right. And ma'am, I do want to advise you, it looks like law enforcement has sent a report to the state attorney's office potentially supporting charges against you. So I'm going to let the lawyers see if they have any questions. You're not required to answer any questions if they would potentially implicate you in a criminal act. You understand that?
Yes.
State, do you have any questions?
No
Defense,
question.
any questions?
No question, Your Honor.
All right, sir, here's what we're going to do, Mr. Snow. I'm going to set bond in this case in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to order, if you post bond, that you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim, Ms. Chilmarski, who's testified today. I'll order that you maintain a separate residence. I'll let you return to her apartment one time in the company of law enforcement to recover your cell phone or any other personal items that are not a subject of dispute between the two of you. I'll order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. I'll order that Orange County Corrections conduct any appropriate screening to determine if there needs to be any additional action taken in regards to Mr. Snow. I'll leave it up to them to assess the situation. That is the order of the court in regards to Mr. Snow. Thank you. All right, you're free to go, ma'am.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Shannon Sparrow.
Ma'am, you've been arrested for the offense of battery, an act of domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense. We have a subject here in the witness box.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Please state your name for the record, spell your last name.
Stephen Sparrow, Sparrow.
Mr. Sparrow, how do you know the defendant?
She's my wife, Your Honor.
How long have y'all been married?
For 4 or 5 months now.
Okay. Do y'all have any children together?
No, sir.
The 1001 South Kirkman Road, Unit 25, who's on the lease there?
Our uncle.
Okay? Do you intend to continue to live there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Normally, in a case like this, sir, I would order that Ms. Sparrow have no contact with you, order that she not return to that location other than one time to get any personal items. She'd have to be escorted by law enforcement. I'd order that she not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Is there any of that you want me to do differently? Anything about that you want me to change?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that?
I would like to still have contact. We still reside in the same residence.
Let me ask you this. Are you concerned that another incident like this is going to happen?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Do you have any fear of Ms. Sparrow harming you?
No, sir, Your Honor.
State, do you want to ask any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you want to ask any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sparrow, here's what we're going to do. Listen carefully. You don't qualify for pretrial release at this point in time, so I'll set bond in the amount of $250. I'll order if you post bond, you have no hostile or violent contact with the identified victim. That means no pushing, no shoving, no yelling, no screaming, no trying to snatch his phone because you want to see who he's talking to. No threatening. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes when I put no hostile contact orders in place, it's not a favor for the defendant because they get back in the same situation. Things get heated. The police show up. The police say you've had hostile or violent contact. You go back to jail and now you're on a no bond status. Do you understand?
Yes.
My suggestion to you is if you decide to go back and reside with the victim and there are problems, take a walk. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I'll order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. State any other conditions that you want me to place. State.
No, not Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, that's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Sparrow.
Thank you.
Tell me your name.
Jacqueline Tirado.
All right, Ms. Tirado, you've been arrested for the offense of battery, an act of domestic violence. Just give me a minute to make sure I remember the paperwork here. All right, ma'am, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set bond in your case in the amount of $500. Listen carefully. If you post bond order, you have no contact whatsoever with the identified victim. Number two, I'm gonna order that you maintain a separate residence from the identified victim. I'm gonna let you return one time to the residence where this incident took place in the company of law enforcement to do two things. Number one, determine if the victim is residing there or not. If he's left, you can continue to live there. If he's there, then the only thing you can do is collect whatever personal items you need and leave with law enforcement and find somewhere else to live while the case is pending. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Order that you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Do you have any questions about what I've ordered, ma'am?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to know when is the case gonna finish? Until how long I have to be out of my apartment if that's my apartment and not his?
So, ma'am, I understand your concern.
Oh.
Number one, I don't know if the state attorney's going to charge the case or not. If they don't, and they dismiss the case, then that's going to take care of the order. The public defender's been appointed to represent you. They can talk to you a little bit more about the process. You may want to talk to them. I don't know if they're going to talk to you about what your options are in regards to the apartment. You may want to cancel or get out of your lease. Those are all things that you can consider, but here's what I'm ordering. If he's residing there, I'm not going to order him to get out of there because I don't think I've got the jurisdiction to do that at this point in time. Okay? You may end up wanting to talk to a lawyer about that or talk to your apartment complex about that. But you can't go and live there if he's continuing to reside there. Do you understand me?
I understand.
Okay, that's the order of the
My
court.
daughter's house until he leaves. I'll go to my daughter's apartment until he leaves.
Ma'am, I'm having a hard time understanding you.
I'll go to my daughter's apartment until he leaves.
Okay. All right, ma'am. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Rado.
He's not in the lease.
Tell me your name.
Erickson Alexis.
All right. So you've been arrested for the offense of resisting officer with violence and petty theft. I find probable cause for each of those offenses. I'm going to stay your bond at $1,000 on count one. I'll stay your bond in the amount of $100 on count two, and I'll order you not return to the location where the theft allegedly took place while you're on bond.
Okay.
That's the order of court in regards to the defendant. Tell me your name.
Luis Alberto Afonso.
All right, sir. You have two matters before the court. The first is you've been arrested on a warrant. The judge who issued the warrant set your bond on count one, possession of heroin, the amount of $1,500. Count two, possession of MDMA, a bond in the amount of $250. Count three, possession of drug paraphernalia, $250 as well. I'll stay your bonds at those amounts. Also, when this offense took place, you were out on ROR status in case number 21 CF 5649. I'm going to revoke your ROR status in that case. Order that you be held on a no bond status until your assigned division judge can determine if there are any conditions of release that are appropriate in your case. Does he have a third?
He has another case.
I'm sorry. Sir, you also have charges of introduction of contraband into a state facility, state or county facility, and a possession of drug paraphernalia. I find probable cause for those offenses. On count one, I'll stay your bond at $1,000. Count two, I'll stay your bond at $100. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Alfonso. Tell me your name.
Carla Barrios Ramos. Carla Cristina Barrios Ramos.
All right, ma'am. Let me go back and look at your case here. All right, ma'am, you've got two matters before the court. The first is your driving license suspended or revoked. I find probable cause for that. And then your second is leaving the scene of a crash involving damage to property. I find probable cause for that. In regards to your driving on a suspended license as a habitual offender, I'm going to set your bond to the amount of $5,000. And on your leaving the scene of accident, I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $1,000. I'll order that if you post bond, you not operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. That's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Barrios Ramos. All right, welcome back, Mr. Carter. You've been arrested for two crimes. Count one is battery on a law enforcement officer. Count two is resisting an officer with violence. I find probable cause for each of those offenses. It appears you qualify for pretrial release. I'll order your release to the pretrial release program with the following conditions. Number one, you have no contact with the identified officers in question. Number two, you not return to SeaWorld or the parking lot of SeaWorld while you're on pretrial release. State any other conditions you're going to request in regards to Mr. Carter.
No, Your Honor.
That's the order of court in regards to Mr. Carter.
So what that mean?
Well, what that means is you're going to get screened for pretrial release. You don't have to post a financial bond. They'll tell you what you need to do. Tell me your name, sir.
Deontay Dortch.
Sir, you've been arrested on a warrant. The offense in the warrant is murder in the first degree. The judge who signed your warrant set your bond at none. I'll stay your bond at none pending disposition of your case or further order of the court. Next is Nicole Dunn. Ma'am, you've been arrested on a violation of probation warrant. The judge who issued your warrant set your bond in the amount of $1,000. In that case, I'll stay your bond in the amount of $1,000. You also have a failure to appear warrant on a prostitution case. The judge who issued that warrant set your bond in the amount of $500. I'll stay your bond in the amount of $500 in that case. That's the order. Is there another one? I saw, well, I see a VOP for where she was on probation for tampering. And then I see a failure to cure capias. That's all right. You were just testing me, weren't you? I passed. All right, so the next case I have is Frederick Howard. All right, Mr. Howard, you've got several matters before the court. Number one is your new arrest for the offense of burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and providing false ID to law enforcement. I find probable cause for each of those offenses. On count one, I'll set your bond at $1,000. Count two, I'll stay your bond at $1,000. Count three, I'll stay your bond at $500. You also were out on bond in case number 21 CF 3667 AO at the time of this offense. I'm going to revoke that bond, revoke your release status, order you be held on a no bond status until disposition of your case or until the assigned division judge determines if there are any conditions of release that might be appropriate. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Howard.
Judge, he has reporting requirements. He has reporting
All
requirements.
right, sir, you have a reporting requirement. You need to comply with that even while you're in custody.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are y'all? Madam PTR? Are y'all tagging it somewhere on the paperwork I'm just not catching?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Rolanda Jackson.
All right, Ms. Jackson, you have a couple matters before the court. The first is your arrest for 4 crimes. The first is possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. Count 2 is tampering with physical evidence. Count 3 is possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis. Count 4 is possession of drug paraphernalia. On count 1, I'm going to set your bond. I find probable cause for all 4 of those. On count 1, I'll set your bond at $2,500. Count 2, I'll stay your bond at $150. Count 3, I'll stay your bond at $100. Count 4, I'll stay your bond at $100. You also have case number 21 CF 2740. In that case, you were out on bond on a possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. In that case, I'm going to revoke your bond, revoke your release status, order you be held on a no bond status, either pending disposition of that case or further order of the assigned division judge if they think there are appropriate conditions of release. That's the order of the court in regards to Ms. Jackson.
Your Honor, on that revoked case, she has no attorney, so I would ask for us to be appointed.
I'll appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent her on the case where I revoked your bond. Tell me your name, sir.
Simon Jenkins.
All right, Mr. Jenkins, you've got several matters before the court. We'll start with your arrest for the offense of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to set your bond to the amount of $15,000. Then you have two other cases where you were out on bond when this took place. In case number 21 CF 1189, you were out on bond on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, revoke your release status, order you be held on a no bond status pending disposition of that case or further order of the division judge. Then you have case number 20 CF 14801. In that case, you were out on bond on battery with one prior battery conviction. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, revoke your release status in that case, order you be held on a no bond status pending disposition of that case or further order of the assigned division judge. I think that takes care of all of Mr. Jenkins' cases. Going up, sir, tell me your name.
He's not next.
Okay.
He passed away with his appearance.
All right, Marcus Johnson, I'm going to allow him to waive his appearance. He was arrested for 3 crimes. I find probable cause for each of those. Here's what I'm going to do. Well, let me ask PTR, is his out-of-county warrant going to exclude him from pretrial release? Is that going to be an absolute bar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I do find probable cause for each of the offenses. On count 1, I'll set bond the amount of $500. Count 2, I'll stay bond at $100. Count 3, I'll stay bond at $100. All right, sir, tell me your name.
Morgan Langston, sir.
All right, Mr. Langston, you've been arrested for 2 offenses. The first is possession of fentanyl. The second is soliciting without a permit. I find probable cause for each of those offenses. On count 1, I'll set bond the amount of $500. Count 2, I'll set bond the amount of $100. And that is the order of the court in regards to Mr. Langston. Tell me your name, sir.
Bernard Mahone.
All right, Mr. Mahone, we've got 3 things to talk about this morning. We'll start with your new arrest. In that case, you're charged in count 1 with attempted robbery, count 2 tampering with a witness, count 3 criminal mischief, count 4 battery, and count 5 resisting officer without violence. I find probable cause for each of those offenses. On count 1, I'm going to set your bond to the amount of $5,000. On count 2, I'm going to set bond to the amount of $500. Count 3, I'll stay your bond at $100. Count 4, I'll set bond to the amount of $500. Count 5, I will set bond to the amount of $500. Then you had 2 other cases where you were already out on bond in 21 MM 1007. You were out on bond on a resisting officer without violence. I'll revoke your bond in that case, revoke your release status in that case, order that you be held on a no bond status on that case, pending either disposition of that case or further order of the court. Your second case is 21 CF 4531. That's a case assigned to my felony trial division. In that case, you were on bond for robbery by sudden snatching, grand theft in the 3rd degree, and grand theft. I'm going to revoke your ROR status in that case, order that you be held on a no bond status in that case until disposition of that case, or until I determine that there are conditions of release that are appropriate for your case. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Mahone. Tell me your name, sir.
Miguel Enrique Martinez Marrero.
All right, Mr. Marrero.
Your Honor,
Hold on.
Sorry.
Let me tell you why you're here. Number 1, you've got a warrant.
I just found out it came out 5 days ago.
Sir, I'm not done talking.
Sorry.
You got a warrant for battery having one prior battery conviction. The judge who issued that warrant set your bond in the amount of $1,500. They also ordered that if you post bond in that case, you have no contact with the victim, co-defendant, or witness. They ordered that you maintain a separate residence. They ordered you not return to the scene of defense. They ordered you not possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. So if you post bond in that, those all will be your conditions. Let me just look at one other.
I find that agreeable. Thank you.
Then you had the fact that you were out on bond in case number 20 CF 15027 for count 1, false report about planning a bomb, count 2, stalking. I'm going to find that you violated your conditions of bond.
The events happened different. That this allegation is from prior to being on bond.
Okay. Well, and then there's also a resisting without violence
I know
from
that,
June 12th. Sir, I'm not going to litigate these things today.
No,
I'm just
I
telling
know
you.
that, but the officer, there is I recognize. Sorry, I'm not very good at this, but I've been studying my ass off for the last year. The officer's decision to stop me was based on.
Your Honor, the defense has mental health issues with this client.
Sir, we're not going to litigate motions to suppress or other issues today.
No. It's just I just want to be able to post bond.
Okay, well, that's not going to happen. Okay, I've already read the affidavits. So even if the
Not
allegations,
crossing the crosswalk. I'm not
Sir.
disputing any of the facts, sir.
what you are doing is continuing to interrupt me and continuing to
I'm
plead your
autistic and I'm
case when
nervous.
I've told you repeatedly that today is not the day to plead your case. And in fact, if you talk about your case, you might make it difficult for you or anyone else to defend yourself in the future.
It's just
I've reviewed the affidavits. I've made my decision. I'm comfortable that there's nothing you're going to say to me that's going to change my decision. The only possible things that are going to happen to you if you keep talking after I've told you that I've made my decision is, number one, you could compromise your future defenses. Number two, you could have a different problem, which is a contempt of court sentence, which would potentially impact how you dispose of your other cases.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for the bench.
You're not demonstrating it at this point in time,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm just.
Which part of please be quiet is unclear to you? All right. So again, you've got your bond on your case with the warrants there. I'm revoking your bond on your 20 CF 15027 case.
This guy.
I'm going to order that you be held on a no bond status until that case is disposed or until the assigned division judge determines what conditions of release are appropriate. And then on the resisting officer without violence, I'm going to find probable cause, stay the bond at $500. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr.
I can't
Marrero.
bond out then, right?
You cannot bond out at this point in time, sir. Tell me your name, ma'am. Autumn Ashley Mercado? All right, ma'am, you've got several matters before the court. So it looks like that there's an allegation that you violated conditions of pretrial release. In that case, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. Then you have the two cases that you were on release for at the time of that offense. The first one is 21 CF 5413. In that case, you're charged in count 1 with battery on a law enforcement officer, count 2 resisting officer with violence, count 3 trespass on occupied structure, count 4 assault on a Leo. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case. In that case, I'll order you be held on a no bond status pending disposition of your case or until further order of the assigned division judge. Then you have 21 CF 1400. Well, I'm not entirely sure. What's written on the paperwork is failure to appear for possession of cocaine, failure to appear possession of drug paraphernalia.
It says closed.
Can the court staff tell me whether 21 CF 1400 AO is actually still open in the clerk system? And was there a FTA capias issued?
The case is still open.
All right, ma'am, they're still showing that those cases are in capias status. Was there a bond amount on the capias?
No bond.
All right, then I'll order you be held on a no bond status in regards to that case as well. I think that addresses all three of your cases, Ms. Mercado. Tell me your name, sir.
Mr. Robert Lee Morse.
All right, Mr. Morse, you were arrested for a warrant. The judge who signed your warrant was for violation of your pretrial release conditions. The judge who issued your warrant set bond on count one in the amount of $2,500, bond on count two in the amount of $100. I will stay your bonds in that amount. That's the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You too. Sir, tell me your name.
Dominic Richardson.
All right, Mr. Richardson, you've got two matters before the court. First, you've been arrested for the offense of carrying a concealed firearm. I find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to stay your bond at $2,500 in that case. Your second matter is the fact that you were out on bond in 21 CF 256 AO. In that case, I'm going to revoke your bond, revoke your release status, order you be held on a no bond status pending disposition of that case, or further order of the assigned division judge.
May I ask a question, please?
Sure.
On that first charge that I had got, I had been trying to get that situated. I wrote a letter to the judge. He gave me a later court date, but I never received anything. That was the only reason why this even still was going on. And I know that it's supposed to be like on the 14th or something like that.
Well, the case is open. You were on bond on the case. The probable cause for the new case is grounds for me to revoke it. So you'll be on a no bond status. You can certainly contact any attorney you have on that case, contact the court, see if you can't get in front of the judge and convince them to change their mind, all right?
Does that mean like I stay here and then?
Correct. You're on a no bond status on that case until the assigned division judge says otherwise.
My court date
All right.
still going to be the same? Is my court date going to still be the same? I think
I would
had on-
assume that they would stay the same. Okay.
No.
All right, do we have Rachel Robles?
Defense away per appearance.
All right, she was arrested for battery on a corrections officer. I do find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to stay her bond at $2,500 pending disposition of her case. All right, who's next? All right, let me take a look at this case real quick. Defense, do you want to waive or you want to reset?
I'll reset to 24 hours.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Santos Rodriguez till tomorrow. Huh?
It's 24 hours from release from hospital.
Yes, Your Honor, 24 hours from the release from the hospital.
24 hours release from hospital, I apologize.
Defense will waive her appearance. Oh, his appearance, I'm sorry.
All right, here's what we'll do on Ardia Thompson. I do find probable cause for the new arrest. I'm going to stay the bond on count one, possession of cocaine in the amount of $1,000. Count two, I'll stay the bond, $1,000 possession of MDMA. She also was out on bond in 21 CF 2009. I'm going to revoke her bond in that case, revoke her release status in that case, order that she be held on a no bond status on that case pending disposition of that case, or further order of the assigned division judge. Hmm? Correct, I'm staying whatever was previously said. Yep. All right, who is this? Sir, tell me your name.
Lamar Walker.
All right, Mr. Walker, you've got a couple matters before the court. Let's start with your new arrest for grand theft in the third degree. 2 counts. I do find probable cause. I will stay your bond on count 1 in the amount of $500, stay your bond on count 2 in the amount of $100. You were out on bond in 21 CF 1786 for resisting officer with violence, trespass on property after warning, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, revoke your release status, order you be held on a no bond status pending disposition of your case, or further order of the assigned division judge. That's the order of the court. Sir, have a good day. Next, tell me your name.
How you doing, Honor? This name is Mr. Washington David.
David Washington?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Washington, let me see what we have here.
Do you mind if I,
Hold on. Sir, you've got a couple cases. First, let's talk about your arrest for possession of MDMA, possession of alprazolam, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for those offenses. On count 1, I'll set your bond in the amount of $500. Count 2, I'll stay your bond at $150. Count 3, I'll stay your bond at $100. Count 4, I'll stay your bond at $100. You also have a charge of no valid driver's license. I find probable cause for that. I'll set your bond in that in the amount of $250. I think that addresses all of Mr. Washington's cases.
Your Honor, may I be able, I work, I got a job. I need some, if it's not a problem that you give me, I will pay your monies. I gotta go to work. I got my twins.
Okay.
I just need your bench to grant me just, even if it's a pre-trial release, I mean, I will pay you.
You don't qualify for pretrial release, otherwise I would have considered that.
Yes, sir.
I set your bonds as I believe are appropriate based on the facts in your history. Okay, have a good day.
Okay.
All right, question. I had a Laura Lynn Rutanowski. She bonded? Okay. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Emmanuel Southall.
Okay, get closer to the microphone. Tell me the name again.
Emmanuel Southall.
Emmanuel Southall?
Yeah, Emmanuel Southall.
All right. I'll go ahead and take your case, and then I've got a question about a couple cases that it looks like we skipped. So. All right, so you've been arrested for the offense of petty theft. Find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $1,000. I'll order if you post bond, you not return to the location where the alleged theft took place. That's the order of the court in regards to Mr. Southall. All right, so before we talk to this next defendant, I had an Edwin Asenjo. Okay. I had a Veronica Kulovitz.
Defense away for appearance.
All right, let me just look at Miss Kulovitz's paper. She was arrested for trespassing in a structure or conveyance. I find probable cause for that offense. I'm going to stay her bond at $250. I'm going to also indicate